I get the pleasure of bringing up our final speaker today. His name is George Ferko. It sounds like a lot of you guys know that already, and it's hard not to. George is the district manager of our Delaware County, Philadelphia offices that run this best summer so far, and brought a heck of a team with him too. I remember first meeting George, we were eating a burger together at a hotel in Detroit. And you guys ever hear that quote where it's like, hey, you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with? I knew when I met George at that moment, I was like, man, I gotta start hanging out with this guy more, because I just feel like every time I talk with him, I'm learning something new, or I just feel better about myself or life overall. He's probably one of the most genuine, passionate people that I've ever met. George has a YouTube page, and I watched him give a 10-minute wind-up talk on a conference call the other day. It's like 12:30 at night. Now sometimes you just can't put your phone down. Anyway, I was watching this talk, and I couldn't go to sleep. I had to find something to do, so I just kind of picked up laundry. I like to keep my laundry on the floor because it's easier to see it that way. But I was so fired up by this 10-minute talk that I didn't know what to do with my time. And you know, it's really is a whole lot of fun to hear him talk whenever he does. Truly exciting person to listen to. So to wrap up our event, let's give a big old warm welcome to Mr. George Ferko.
Thanks for that, Henry. Yep. How about Ethan and Stacy? Let's give it up for them. Killing it. I've got 20 minutes now to live up to the reputation that you just built for me. Thank you for that, Henry. Yeah, this group here, I look out at you guys, and someone commented outside earlier that this division meeting looks so much better than the previous year, and I thought it looked great last year too. And he's right. This division meeting, and this is just the beginning of the summer, by the way, you guys look fantastic, and we're going to do great things together this summer. You probably don't realize how great of an organization this is. You know, we spend all this time in our own offices, we spend all this time out doing demos, and a lot of other professional organizations, they get together every single day. KPMG, people at Deloitte, people at Goldman Sachs, they're there with each other every day. And they get to see all the other high-performing people compete with each other. And when people get added to that organization, it drives them forward and it drives them each day. And that's why these events are so important. You know, some of you right now, you're sitting here thinking about the great things that you can accomplish. Maybe you met people today that now you know that they're just regular human beings. The people that sell $6,000 in a day or $15,000 in a week, they're just regular folks, just like you and I. There's nothing different between you and between them. But don't forget that when you go home. You know, when you go home tonight, don't lose sight of what you found here. That's why we do these events, so that you can get that glimpse of what's here. And one of the things that's always blown my mind about this organization is that we're a company that sells knives that has insanely high caliber people working inside of it. And it doesn't make any sense. But that's what it's about. It's about the people. It's not what you do, it's about how you do it. If you think about those other things, like KPMG, they're accountants. What do accountants do? They look through balance sheets and they interpret them. People that work at Goldman Sachs watch 3 to 6 monitors all day and wait for things to blink red, and then they call somebody. And that's what they do. That's what a financial analyst does. And you know, it's not what they're doing, but it's how they do it. I think about people like friends of mine, Dane Jervis, who left Lehigh to go work at Goldman Sachs and would work 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, every day, for 55 grand a year to live in Manhattan. Which, if you know anybody that lives in Manhattan, that's not enough to survive. And, you know, I think about the opportunity that we have here, and what would happen if you worked that hard. Think about that. You would make more money than someone who works in one of the most prestigious positions that exists for a post-college graduate. And that's just mind-blowing. But you have to ask yourself, are you willing to work that hard? That's what it's really about. And that's what this talk is about today. Because I dare you to believe in yourself. I dare you to not just believe, I dare you to decide that today you can move forward. Today you can win. Today you can decide to do things that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I dare you to win the day. I want you to start asking yourself questions like, how do you want to be perceived? Or how do you want to feel about yourself? You know, nobody wakes up and says to themselves in the morning, I hope I'm mediocre today. I hope I just do okay. But the thing is that we don't wake up in the morning and ask ourselves anything at all about how we want to do. And that's why we're okay with accepting mediocrity. If you woke up in the morning and you looked at yourself in the mirror and you asked yourself, what am I going to do today? Every human being on the planet would say, I'm going to do something great. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's going to be great. So I want you to start asking yourself those questions. I want you to make those decisions. I recently finished reading a book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And Tony Robbins, do some of you know who Tony Robbins is? Tony Robbins is a great speaker. There's just an infinite amount of stuff that I could recommend of his. But I think in every single thing that he's ever done, he's recommended this book. And I've heard him recommend it at least 300, maybe 400 times. And it took that many times for me to decide that I should read it. And it was one of the most impactful things that I'd ever read in my entire life. So I don't know why I was waiting. In the foreword, this first quote is from the foreword of the book. I was 2 pages into the book, and I was like, this is one of the most meaningful things that I've ever read in my entire life. Forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing: your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. You can't control what happens in your life, but you can always control what you will feel and do about what happens to you. And here you have this opportunity to test your character. Here, in the push that we're about to go into, as long as you just do the push the way you're supposed to, your character will be tested. But you should feel enormously grateful for that opportunity. That opportunity is something that most people don't get. We wake up or we tell other people, I'm a good person, or I'm an honest person, or I'm a hardworking person, or I'm an intelligent person. But how often are those things even tested? How often have you actually had to prove that to anybody? Not many times. But in the push that you're about to go into, you'll have that opportunity, whether you're a manager or a division manager, whether you're a brand new representative and this is your second day on the job. This guy over here, second day, right? First day on the job.
Second, yeah.
First full day on the job. Day and a half he's been here. And we should be grateful for that chance, because it's a chance that most people don't get. Some people go through life waiting for things to happen, but this is happening to you right now. It's a chance to work hard and to reap rewards and to remember it for the rest of your life. Viktor Frankl said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Now, of course, Viktor Frankl and Rabbi Kushner are talking about the most horrific things that have ever happened to people on the planet. They're talking about genocide. They're talking about persecution of an entire race. And they're talking about still finding joy and freedom in those things. You've got a little bit more freedom than they do. But you have a duty. You have a duty to the human race to prove what you're made of. These people did, and many others have before. You know, you can go through the next couple weeks of your life and you can choose to not really do anything. And you look back in those 10 days like you look back at any other 10 days of Netflix binging and Game of Thrones marathons, although it is a great show. Hopefully you're caught up by now so that you can take advantage of the push. But what I'm talking about here is realizing that we're all the same. You and I are here for the same reasons. We're here because we've chosen to believe that we can get something more out of today. That's why you're here. Or maybe your manager convinced you that you could get something more out of today, but it's true. If you came here and you took lots of notes and you didn't text on your phone the whole time and you gathered as much information as you could from these speakers, then you did something today that most people didn't do. You tried to make today significant and you tried to make today a win. And each and every single person here is capable of great things. There is no difference. The more high-performing people you'll meet in your life, the more you'll realize that there's no difference between them and you. The difference is just daily activity. It's what you do each day. And the habits that you have today that are bad habits will be harder to break tomorrow, and the good habits that you want to form will be harder to start forming tomorrow. So you might as well start today. Today is where it begins. I've been called a lot of things. I've been called a genius, and I've been called arrogant. I've been called selfish, and I've been called selfless. But there's one thing that I know for certain, and that is that everything that I've learned and that I've become, I've learned from other people. And I've learned from a curiosity of trying to figure things out in the world. And you guys should have that same curiosity. You should figure things out. You should make a decision to be great. Make a decision to learn as much as you can. You have that opportunity this summer. That opportunity to learn. I would venture to guess that in everything else you'll ever do for the rest of your life, you'll never have a manager that will pick up the phone at midnight if you call them and they're awake. That won't happen. This is the one place. In fact, some of your parents might not even pick up the phone. Mine probably wouldn't, but I'm older, so, you know, they probably should at this point. They should be sleeping, right? But, you know, you'll never have a professor, you'll never have a boss that'll do that. But here, people will commit to your learning and growth. They'll help you through challenges. Whatever goal that you set for yourself, they'll help you through it. You know, I was talking to my girlfriend Candace the other day, and she told me she's a veterinary nurse oncologist, a specialized nurse that studies animal cancer. And she said that she didn't feel fulfilled. She felt like she could do so much more. She didn't feel proud of what she was doing because she felt like she could do more. And my question was, well, when will you? What really keeps us from doing things? We tell ourselves things like, I can't blank because blank, or I would do blank if only blank happened, or we wait. We wait until the 4th of July. Where's that young man? Told me, there you are. Wait till the 4th of July to send out an email. We wait and we put things off until the time is right. It doesn't make any sense. Why do we do it? Why do we wait? Why do we make excuses? Everyone's waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for conditions to be perfect. They're waiting for someday. And the truth is that someday never comes. Someday is today. It's the day that you decide that it is. I love this quote. I don't think that General Patton is the first person to say it. I believe that Voltaire might have been the first person to say something similar. But a good plan today is better than a great plan tomorrow. I think that's really true. Today is your day to take action. In all things, no matter what, you can choose today to start to win. For me personally, and we all take joy in different things. For me personally, I take joy in watching someone have a massive aha moment because of something that I said. Watching all of a sudden someone feel like I've enlightened them in some way. Those things, it means something to me. And what's driven me to get there is just this desire to learn and to have some unique perspective. And you have a chance to have unique perspective. You see, unique perspective doesn't come from genius. No one's born with it. It comes from unique experience. The SEC push is one of the most unique experiences that you will ever have. It will teach you things about yourself that you'll never have the chance to learn anywhere else, as long as you push yourself hard and you work hard. Know why you do things. Understand why. I'm not sure why I ever developed that learning mindset, but I know that it feels good. It feels good to deliver those moments for people. I met this MBA student at Wharton a few months ago, and he was telling me this story of his life and what he plans to do. And his story for retirement is that at the end, he'll finally get the chance to teach primary and secondary, elementary school students and high school students, teach them things, really make a difference in the world. And my question was, why not start today? 2 hours a week is all it takes. We're all putting things off. Even the most high-performing, he's a high-performing young man, I can tell you that. Graduated from Princeton, worked at Goldman Sachs as well. Still putting things off. Putting off what he really wants. What do you really want? And why can't you really get it today? Well, he's started volunteering at a school now, so he's getting what he wants. The moments of gratitude that you receive from others, that's what it's all about. That unique perspective that you can really give them. If you haven't realized it yet, it's happening to you right now. What you're doing today is unique. How many people are there in this room? John? 100 and what? 154. You're the only 154 people in all of Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania, that are attending this event today. That's something that you should be proud of. It's unique and it's different. And when you go home tonight and you talk to other people, they won't have been to this event. And you'll have things that maybe you could share, unique perspective, but this is only the beginning. The push is where it really happens. When people tell you that a 20-year-old Vector is not like a 20-year-old everywhere else, they mean certain things. It means that you'll be more mature and more reliable. It means that you'll have a higher amount of integrity. And integrity to me doesn't necessarily mean high moral value. It means doing the things that you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do them. Getting things done. Having a word that means something. Allowing other people to trust you because you trust yourself to get done what you came to do. It's that difference. We've all done it. We all have an integrity gap. It's the difference between what we think we should do and what we actually do. Like if you've ever set your phone alarm for an hour earlier in the morning, and then you set 3 more alarms as well, because you already know you're not going to wake up. That's the integrity gap. It's the lack of trust that you have in yourself. Use this place and use this push to close that gap. Imagine the version of you that literally always gets done the things that you say you will get done. What could that person do? Knowing with 100% certainty that no matter what, you will always follow through. It's about the pride. This push is about the pride that you take in the work that you do. It's about remembering that it's not what you do, but how you do it that matters. That's what you'll remember years from now. You'll remember that you gave it your all. You'll remember that you tried your hardest. You'll remember that you made a difference for others. You'll remember that you proved yourself. You'll remember that you worked hard. And things will go wrong. And you'll remember that you pushed through them. And you'll know what that means for you. And it's about that too. It's about the grit. The grit, the hard work, and the persistence through adversity. That's what grit is, I think. That's how I would define it anyway. Because when you work hard, you encounter adversity. That's the way it works. The more you do, the more you will fail. The more you'll succeed as well. There are people today that have not failed today. They're sitting right now on a couch. They've been playing Call of Duty for the last 3 hours. They're opening their second bag of potato chips. And that's not a hit at the game Call of Duty. Call of Duty's a great game. We all know it. Chips are great too. But my point is that today you will try things. When you leave this conference today, if you aren't going straight to a demo, you should go straight to a phone. And you should phone like crazy. And you should phone until people say no. And then you should phone some more. You should call the people that you're most afraid to call, because then the others will be easier to call. You should push yourself to fail. There's 3 different stages of failure. There's the people that are afraid to fail. There's the people that learn to deal with failure. And then there's the people that seek it out, because they know failure is the real key to growth. You have to do something bad before you can do something good. You have to do something poorly until you can do something well. I mean, Superman does good, right? You get those confused. I was raised in the woods. So. In the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, it's where I'm from. I mess things up sometimes. These pushes are not about the prizes, and they're not about the money. They're about who you become in the process. They're about the character that you build. Also, because I'm raised in the woods, I cannot pronounce this man's name. I think it's Nietzsche. I don't know. Yeah? Cool. Nietzsche. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. When you know that the purpose of this upcoming push is for you to learn about yourself and for you to become the person that you can bear anything that happens. You can bear a phone time where you make 70 phone calls and you don't line up a single demo and then you make more. You can do it. You can bear 3 no sales in a row. Oh my gosh. Like that's the most horrible thing that ever happened. And go into the next one with enthusiasm because you know why you're doing it. Those points of failure are your moments. They're your opportunities to prove yourself. And without those points of failure, you wouldn't learn anything from that push. The push would just be about making money and winning prizes then. If everything went right, that's all it would be about. But that's not what it's about. The push is about learning to fail. It's about learning to fail and learning that those moments where everything goes wrong, are the only moments that you have to become the person that you want to be. And then 20 years from now, when you lose your job that you've had for 15 years, you'll react by taking action instead of cowering in fear. Because you recognize again that that is an opportunity knocking at the door, waiting for you to seize that opportunity, waiting for you to take advantage of that moment where you can prove yourself. You must know why. People will tell you that you need to know your why, but they don't tell you how to discover it. Viktor Frankl said, "It did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who are being questioned by life, daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual." Massive action. That is how you respond. Taking action. What he's writing about in these passages, by the way, is what to do when an SS officer kills everyone else in your group. He's not writing about how to respond in a push. He's talking about how to respond to the most difficult and impossible things on the planet. And you won't get near where he got in this push, but you'll get something. You'll get a glimpse of this, but you'll only get it if you push yourself. That's why they call it a push. Because you must try hard. Because you must work hard. Otherwise, there was no point. If you sell 10K for this push and you do it without working hard, you miss the whole point. And you'll still maybe get a trophy, and you'll still win the yacht, but you still miss the point. You didn't learn what you came to learn. This is a chance for you to reach your full potential, and for each of you that's different. You may work hard for the push, and maybe you're at a place right now where working hard for the push means, learning and growing, maybe get to 5 or 6K for the push. Maybe you're the worst representative that we ever hired, but that gives you the best opportunity. You have the biggest opportunity for growth, the biggest opportunity to learn about yourself. This push is for you. This push is for you. You discover your why through massive action. You discover your why through responding to the opportunities that life throws at you and seizing those opportunities. And you discover your why by realizing that today is your day. The true meaning of life is to be discovered in the world rather than within man or his own psyche, as though it were a closed system. Also Viktor Frankl. What does he mean? He means that some people spend their whole lives thinking about what the meaning of everything is, what should they be doing, what should they be passionate about, and they forget to just do stuff. You gotta do stuff. You gotta work hard. That's what it's about. And through that, you'll find who you really are, and you'll find what you really care about. You can do that here, no matter what you care about. Whether you care about teaching others, giving back to the community. There are a few people I know who give more back to the community than that man sitting in that corner over there. Whether you care about making money, whether you care about nice cars, we've got it all. Whether you care about teaching others, I would say we do more of that than just about any other organization out there. I looked up the statistics for our local community college, closest to my office. The average student that graduates from there with a 2-year degree graduates with $11,000 worth of student loan debt and makes $2,000 less than the average American 10 years after graduation. What did they learn? Doesn't cost you anything here. You don't pay tuition. But here you'll learn more about yourself than you will there, whether you realize it yet or not. The only way you'll come to realize those things is if you work hard, and you try hard for this push, and you give it your all, and you make decisions to give it your all. It's not about what happens to you, it's about what you decide to do about it. The decisions that you make are what drives you. And that's why this talk really isn't about daring to believe it all. This talk is about deciding to win. This talk is about making a decision today to win the day. And when you leave here, to remember these words that you heard here. Not the words that you heard from me, but the words that you heard from everyone. To remember the people that you met and the people that you saw. Your job today, before you leave, is to make sure that you get the numbers of some of the other people that you talked to here today, and you stay in touch. This is one of the best teams I've ever looked at, my entire history with Vector Marketing. And we can all do great things together. And we can make a difference for each other, and we can teach people things. But it starts today. It starts today with the beginning of this push. It starts with each and every one of you. It starts with you fighting for your goals, or maybe just setting your goals. So when you leave here today, work hard, discover things about yourself, because that's what this place is all about. It's about self-discovery. And the only way that you'll do that is by forcing yourself to try and to try harder than you ever have before. That's all I have for you guys. Decide to win.